So here today, we're at the 360 Precision. We're inside our range. I'm here with Nyada from Tanner's Sports Center, and she's helping us do some demonstrations on proper things that people do that is a big mistake that I see in shooting positionally. So this is a big mistake that is a fundamental of shooting well. And if you make the mistake, and I've seen very well trained individuals in military and SWAT and so forth make this mistake, making this simple little correction will help tremendously in your shooting ability. So today we're going to basically be going through some just very few things that are basically talking about natural point of aim and squaring up with the rifle. So one of those things that you see a lot of people do, and I was going to show us in a second how you would typically see when you're shooting an AR platform or any sort of semi-auto rifle, you're going to be canted out of side. That typically comes from close quarter engagement. It's a self-defense type of stance. But when we're shooting long range, we do not want to use that same thing. So we want to use squaring up with the rifle, and we'll show you the proper technique for doing that. And that then allows us to have what we call natural point of aim, which is going to help with managing the recoil of that rifle. So we're going to get on with that now. So first we're going to be demonstrating here the incorrect way. What I typically see, what we see a lot of shooters come in and do incorrectly, and that's they don't develop a good fundamental squaring up with the target, squaring up with the rifle, and developing that natural point of aim. So what Nene is going to first come up and do is show you what the wrong position. This is what we typically see. So that's going to be coming up, and they're going to go down. And you can see just from her body position, she's tilted and angled off to the side. So having her angled off to the side is going to have that rifle, when it shoots, it's going to naturally go and recoil that way and push back. So when she's looking through the scope to try to identify whether or not there's been a miss or an impact, she's not going to see because that rifle is going to kick off. So two things that she's also, another thing that she's also doing here is that we like to try to get, if we can, not hard on hard contact. So hard on hard contact is going to be when you have the rifle on the actual surface of whatever you might be shooting off of. If you're able to, having your hand underneath there provides a little bit more support. It also allows that rifle to be just a little bit more steady. When you're shooting for longer distances and trying to maintain accuracy, if possible, you always want a soft contact point between the rifle and whatever you're shooting off of positionally. We'll show another feature with using a bag as well, which will also help with that. So the proper technique that we want to do here, she's going to come up. She wants to be square. If her target is downrange, she wants to be square with that target. She's going to go down over top, and she's going to just have that rifle come straight back into her. So you'll see it from both the front and the back here. She's going to go up, come down. So you want to get your legs, yep. So, and the goal here is that when you spread your legs, or if you're down on a knee, however that may be, that you could sit there and be relaxed for potentially up to a minute, that you wouldn't start to shake, that you wouldn't have that ability to influence the rifle. So right now you can see how her shoulders are square with the rifle, so the rifle's going straight back. Her shoulders are this way, so it's perpendicular to her. So now she's going to get a very nice recoil when that rifle goes. It's going to come straight back into her, and she's going to maintain viewing down where the round was fired. So this would be a proper position when you're shooting positionally off of barricades, off of any of those type of things. This is a much better, accurate way to shoot when you're shooting positionally. So we're going to show. So this is our recon rifle that we're showing right now. We're going to show it with using our evolution rifle. Is going to be the second way that we're going to be doing that, and we're going to show that with using a bag. So what we have here is our evolution rifle. This is the bag that I was talking about. Number of different companies make these. This is an Armageddon Gear. This is their pint-sized bag. This is nice because it's really small, kind of light. But basically, this goes down on top of the barricade like this. So now, instead of having that hard surface to come down on, you have this nice soft, and you can just put the rifle up there. So that's going to now have, so now you can even run the rifle all the way up to kind of the midpoint, which is a better balance point. That's going to help. Now I'm not having to support all that rifle towards the back. So when you come down, you would basically come down, you'd put the bag down, you'd put the rifle down as almost as close to the mag while pressing up against the bag. Again, you would square up, right, with this rifle. You'd identify your target, you'd come straight down, and you would be able to now have that shooting position where, so let's adjust this real quick. Let's pull this back just a hair so we can give you just a little bit more length of pull there, right?
Perfect.
Perfect, okay. So that's now, again, you can see the rifle's going straight back through her. Her shoulders are now perpendicular to the rifle. So again, when that recoil, it's going to recoil straight back. If she hits the target or misses the target, particularly this is important in a long range shot, you need to be able to spot either your miss or an impact. If it was an impact, was it on the right side of the plate, the left side of the plate? Because if you have another target that could potentially be out there that's further, you need to maybe add additional wind for that target, or less wind. Maybe you hit too far to the right and you were holding too far. Okay, I need to back off of that because I'm now going to another target. You can make those adjustments. If you can't spot those, now you can't make an adjustment. Now you're just shooting and shooting and shooting. And if every time, if you're in one of those not natural point of aim and not squared up with the rifle, that rifle is going to kick you off. You're not going to ever see what that round did downrange. You're not going to be able to spot whether it was an impact, whether it was a miss. If it was either one, you're not going to be able to make any sort of correction or adjustment. So let's go through this. So we'll pick up the rifle, pick up the bag. So typically what you're going to do is you're going to have this in one hand. There. You're just going to basically go up. You plop that down like that, kind of settle it in there. Yep. Bring the rifle up, slide it forward, square up with the rifle. Yep. Go down over top. You want to spot what you're looking at downrange. You just come down, and then as long as you don't have the scope zoomed in too far, pretty typical, when you've done all the things right, you will basically almost be on target. So that's another really good fundamental to practice beyond squaring up. When you've done all this, when you've done your natural point of aim, when you've squared up with the rifle, and when you come down right over top of, and you've identified downrange what your target is, this is going to improve greatly your ability to acquire that target very quickly. So when you're shooting in a competition, that's going to be very important to you, and having that ability to acquire that target quickly so that you can then move on to another position if needed. One other thing I want to kind of show to everybody is, let's go over, we're going to shoot off of, right now we're shooting off of with no side support. If there was side support, you typically would like to go not in the middle, but you would want to go to one of the sides. So right-handed people, you would typically go over to here. That's going to give you just a little bit more stability in any of these props and so forth. So going over to a side or an angle is going to give you a little bit more, because now you can either use your thumb to press up against over the top. You just get that little bit more stabilization of the rifle and the ability to be more accurate downrange when you're shooting. So all of those things, again, you can see the square position. That's, again, so important when that rifle recoils, that you're going to get that really good, clean, straight back recoil. As long as you make a good trigger press, you're going to see a very clean break. You're going to see the rifle, it's going to go back, it would go forward, and then you would hopefully be able to spot your impact or miss, if it happens to be, downrange. So yeah, so what we also want to make sure of, one of the big things that this gives you when you're shooting is the ability to do target acquisition. So what I typically tell people is, if you have a target downrange, find some identifying marker, whether it's a patch of grass that's a different color, a specific tree, a target marker, a letter, something, anything that's out there that's going to be that you want to basically identify that's next to your target, so that if you get lost in the scope, you can it helps you find your target. If you're doing all the things that we just talked about and applying them properly, when you come up, so we're going to have Naya come up, she's going to put the bag down, she's going to get that settled in there, she's going to put the rifle down on it, she's going to square up, and as she's coming down, she's visualizing and she sees that target downrange. She sees what she's trying to mark, and she's coming down, because she might not be able to necessarily see the target, but whatever that tree is, whatever was out there that she could see with the blind eye, she's now lined up, and because she's square, as soon as she comes down into that scope, she's as long as it's not zoomed in too far, you want to make sure that your scope is not massively zoomed in. You want to keep it, I keep my scope somewhere between 10 and 15, depending upon the distance that I'm shooting. My scope pretty much stays at 12 times magnification almost through an entire match. But if you come down and you have it at a proper magnification, when you come down, you're looking straight down, it's pointed kind of in that direction, and as you come into your scope, you're going to see your target. Now you can make your fine-tune adjustments to actually aim the rifle to the target, make any wind correction that you're going to do, and that is going to tremendously help your time when you're on the clock. So when you're shooting a competition, time is going to be either measured that you have a certain specific amount of time to shoot all the targets, or you're being clocked as far as how fast you can shoot the targets. So by having that natural point of aim, squaring up, and then doing that last piece where you've identified your piece downrange and you're coming down, 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 and then you look through your scope and you already now have your target in your sights, that is critical to speed and will tremendously help with your overall shooting. So thanks for joining us on this video. Hopefully you got some good content that you're able to see improvements that you can make in your shooting that really will help improve your accuracy, help improve. Really the biggest point of that is you're going to be able to spot follow-up shots by using these techniques when you're shooting. So if you like and subscribe, please, down below, you can click on the link to like and subscribe to our videos. Make sure you also hit the bell. That's going to give you the notifications when we drop new content for you guys. Always appreciate that. Make sure you also go to our Facebook page, like and subscribe there as well, and Instagram. And you can also then look at, we have these two videos here that you can go check out and continue to follow our stuff. Thanks, guys.